So we're back again. So I've done three sets of 100 spins each. I think I can exhibit pretty well based on this three sets of 100 spins on where we are heading with this particular method. So if you see the first set, the drawdown was 12, the max was 85 and the recovery was 36. Second set, drawdown was 1, max was 80, recovery was 45. Third one, the drawdown was 39 units, max was 67 and the recovery was 68 units. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the maximum and minimum out of this into our my matrix. So this is our worst performing session. So we take this worst performing session and plot it in our graphs, which will give you the worst performing. So the maximum drawdown was 39 and the recovery was 68 and the maximum was 69, and this is basically a loss making. So this is what we should be wary of. We should be wary of loss making sessions instead of profitable sessions to define a better method. Obviously you need to consider the percentile basis on, let's say, out of so many loss making sessions, so many winning sessions, is your winning consistently higher than the loss making sessions. But we'll come to that point later on once we go through this particular matrix and see how it is working. So essentially what we are going to do, we are going to plot another method here, which is going to say L win loss ratio. So we say 2 out of 3 was a winner, and when we say 2 out of 3 was a winner, obviously we also need to see them from a money perspective. Is it still 2 out of 3? Yes, it is still 2 out of 3, because the maximum that we have been able to make here is 85, the maximum we have been able to make here is 80, and the minimum that we have gone down here, or probably the recovery point, is what we should consider, which is 68. So out of 3 sessions we won 2 sessions, and the loss in the third session is basically less than the winning in each of those sessions. So we are still 2 out of 3 in a win loss ratio. Now going back to our little graphs, how do they spare? So as you can see, I have 3 sets of colors. The blue is the first session, green is the second session, and red is the third session. Now for a moment, let's forget the winning sessions for a moment and get into the analysis of the losing session. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep the losing session here, and this is how my graph for the losing session appear. As you can see, the linear graph or the linear line and the forecast line is still showing upward trend. It may not be as up as the other 2 sessions, but it is still showing an upward trend. That is good, because our linear line is going to consistently show an upward trend, and this particular method is probably still a consistent winner on an upward trend. That is one thing that we can conclude based on 300 spins. Obviously we need to test and test, but so far it's showing an upward trend and it is a winner. Now again, when we see how much of the moving average is above uh, the linear line that we have, you can see the maximum is, or it is still, you know, looking good above the linear line. So it is still an okay line instead of a poor performing line or a holy grail. So it is still okay, even though it is a loss making session. The graphs show that this is still an okay session. This is a loss that we can recover, because the linear progression is showing an upward trend and the moving averages is consistently above the upward trend. So that comes to the closure of this particular chapter. I'll leave you all to digest the facts, and probably we should have some discussion for the next few days over what we have seen here so far, gather inputs from everybody to make it a more meaningful session, and probably proceed to further, you know, variations of this particular framework, further analysis before we arrive at a final framework here. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope it has been useful to all of you. If you all can contribute, it will be useful to me as well. Thanks a lot, guys.